In Tune with the Infinite, or Fullness of Peace, Power, and Plenty, by Walter Trine. Preface. There is a golden thread that runs through every religion in the world. There is a golden thread that runs through the lives and the teachings of all the prophets, seers, sages, and saviors in the world's history, through the lives of all men and women of truly great and lasting power. All that they have ever done or attained to has been done in full accordance with law. What one has done, all may do. This same golden thread must enter into the lives of all who today, in this busy workaday world of ours, would exchange impotence for power, weakness and suffering for abounding health and strength, pain and unrest for perfect peace, poverty of whatever nature for fullness and plenty. Each is building his own world. We both build from within and we attract from without. Thought is the force with which we build, for thoughts are forces. Like builds like, and like attracts like. In the degree that thought is spiritualized, does it become more subtle and powerful in its workings. This spiritualizing is in accordance with law, and is within the power of all. Everything is first worked out in the unseen before it is manifested in the seen. In the ideal before it is realized in the real, in the spiritual before it shows forth in the material. The realm of the unseen is the realm of cause. The realm of the seen is the realm of effect. The nature of effect is always determined and conditioned by the nature of its cause. To point out the great facts in connection with and the great laws underlying the workings of the interior spiritual thought forces, to point them out so simply and so clearly that even a child can understand, is this author's aim. To point them out so simply and so clearly that all can grasp them, that all can take them and infuse them into everyday life, so as to mold it in all its details in accordance with what they would have it, is his purpose. That life can be thus molded by them is not a matter of mere speculation or theory with the author, but a matter of positive knowledge. There is a divine sequence running throughout the universe. Within and above and below, the human will incessantly works the divine will. To come into harmony with it, and thereby with all the higher laws and forces. To come then into league, and to work in conjunction with them, in order that they can work in league and in conjunction with us, is to come into the chain of this wonderful sequence. This is the secret of all success. This is to come into the possession of unknown riches, into the realization of undreamed of powers. Walter Trine. Prelude. The optimist is right. The pessimist is right. The one differs from the other as the light from the dark, yet both are right. Each is right from his own particular point of view, and this point of view is the determining factor in the life of each. It determines as to whether it is a life of power or of impotence, of peace or of pain, of success or of failure. The optimist has the power of seeing things in their entirety and in their right relations. The pessimist looks from a limited and a one-sided point of view. The one has his understanding illumined by wisdom. The understanding of the other is darkened by ignorance. Each is building his world from within, and the result of the building is determined by the point of view of each. The optimist, by his superior wisdom and insight, is making his own heaven. And in the degree that he makes his own heaven, is he helping to make one for all the world beside. The pessimist, by virtue of his limitations, is making his own hell, and in the degree that he makes his own hell, is he helping to make one for all mankind. You and I have the predominating characteristics of an optimist, or the predominating characteristics of a pessimist. We then are making hour by hour our own heaven or our own hell. And in the degree that we are making the one or the other for ourselves, are we helping make it for all the world beside. The word heaven means harmony. The word hell is from the Old English hell, meaning to build a wall around, to separate. To be held was to be shut off from. Now, if there is such a thing as harmony, there must be that something one can be in right relations with. For to be in right relations with anything is to be in harmony with it. Again, if there is such a thing as being held, shut off, separated from, there must be that something from which one is held, shut off, or separated. The supreme fact of the universe. The great central fact of the universe is that spirit of infinite life and power that is behind all, that animates all, that manifests itself in and through all. That self-existent principle of life from which all has come, and not only from which all has come, but from which all is continually coming. If there is an individual life, there must, of necessity, be an infinite source of life from which it comes. If there is a quality or a force of love, there must, of necessity, be an infinite source of love whence it comes. If there is wisdom, there must be the all-wise source behind it from which it springs. The same is true in regard to peace, the same in regard to power, the same in regard to what we call material things. There is, then, this spirit of infinite life and power behind all, which is the source of all. This infinite power is creating, working, ruling through the agency of great immutable laws and forces that run through all the universe, that surround us on every side. Every act of our everyday lives is governed by these same great laws and forces. Every flower that blooms by the wayside springs up, grows, blooms, fades, according to certain great immutable laws. Every snowflake that plays between earth and heaven forms, falls, melts, according to certain great unchangeable laws. In a sense, there is nothing in all the great universe but law. If this is true, there must of necessity be a force behind it all that is the maker of these laws, and a force greater than the laws that are made. This spirit of infinite life and power that is behind all is what I call God. I care not what term you may use, be it kindly light, providence, the oversoul, omnipotence, or whatever term may be most convenient. I care not what the term may be, as long as we are agreed in regard to the great central fact itself. God, then, is this infinite spirit which fills all the universe with himself alone, so that all is from him and in him, and there is nothing that is outside. Indeed, and in truth, then, in him we live and move and have our being. He is the life of our life, our very life itself. We have received, we are continually receiving our life from him. We are partakers of the life of God, and though we differ from him in that we are individualized spirits, while he is the infinite spirit, including us as well as all else beside, yet in essence, the life of God and the life of man are identically the same, and so are one. They differ not in essence, in quality, they differ in degree. There have been and are highly illumined souls who believe that we receive our life from God after the manner of a divine inflow. And again, there have been and are those who believe that our life is one with the life of God, and so that God and man are one. So which is right? Both are right. Both right when rightly understood. In regard to the first, if God is the infinite spirit of life behind all, whence all comes, then clearly our life as individualized spirits is continually coming from this infinite source by means of this divine inflow. And in the second place, if our lives as individualized spirits are directly from, are parts of this infinite spirit of life, then the degree of the infinite spirit that is manifested in the life of each must be identical in quality with that source. The same as a drop of water taken from the ocean is, in nature, in characteristics, identical with that ocean, its source. And how could it be otherwise? The liability to misunderstanding in this latter case, however, is this: in that although the life of God and the life of man, in essence, are identically the same, the life of God so far transcends the life of individual man that it includes all else beside. In other words, so far as the quality of life is concerned, in essence they are the same. So far as the degree of life is concerned, they are vastly different. In this light, is it not then evident that both conceptions are true? And more, that they are one and the same? Both conceptions may be typified by one and the same illustration. There is a reservoir in a valley which receives its supply from an inexhaustible reservoir on the mountainside. It is then true that the reservoir in the valley receives its supply by virtue of the inflow of the water from the larger reservoir on the mountainside. It is also true that the water in this smaller reservoir is in nature, in quality, in characteristics, identically the same as that in the larger reservoir which is its source. The difference, however, is this: the reservoir on the mountainside, in the amount of its water, so far transcends the reservoir in the valley that it can supply an innumerable number of like reservoirs and still be unexhausted. And so in the life of man. If, as I think we have already agreed, however, we may differ in regard to anything else, there is this infinite spirit of life behind all the life of all, and so, from which all comes, then the life of individual man, your life and mine, must come by a divine inflow from this infinite source. And if this is true, then the life that comes by this inflow to man is necessarily the same in essence as is this infinite spirit of life. There is a difference. It's not a difference in essence. It is a difference in degree. If this is true, does it not then follow that in the degree that man opens himself to this divine inflow, does he approach to God? If so, it then necessarily follows that in the degree that he makes this approach, does he take on the God powers. And if the God powers are without limit, does it not then follow that the only limitations man has are the limitations he sets to himself by virtue of not knowing himself?